Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you another Flicks in Lit video. And this one I was so excited to do because it dealt with an adaptation that I was very much looking forward to for this year, because the adaptation is for a book series that I loved as a child, and that series is the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark series. So we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones by Alvin Schwartz, and illustrated, we cannot forget the illustrator, by Stephen Gamble, which these books as a kid were my jam. Oh my gosh. I attribute these and the Goosebumps books as being the books that really got me into reading and that really got me into scary stuff. So I hold these near and dear. So my nostalgia for this series may be affecting my feelings about the movie, but we're just going to get into it anyway. So, for those of you who have never heard of these books, the Scary Stories books are basically are collections of short stories that are spooky. Some of them are funny, some of them are scary, some of them are weird, but these books are just awesome. And part of the I think draw of these books and what makes them just so amazing are the illustrations. Let me see if I can find a good one really quick just to show you. The illustrations in this book, in these books, are just like iconic. And I would say if you're going to pick these up, do your best to get the ones with the original illustrations, because they are terrifying and amazing. So the thing about these books is they are short story collections, so they do not have a plot necessarily. So I was really curious going into the movie what they were going to do to kind of tie the movie together and make a plot for the movie to have, because otherwise, what would they do? So I went into it excited, but very curious. And unfortunately, this movie just didn't do it for me. Yeah, it was disappointing. I think the main thing that I had, that I felt a little let down by, was the plot point that they chose to do for this movie. I won't go into super detail here, except to say that they basically created this backstory about this girl named Sarah Bellows who was not treated very well by her family and was locked away and would like tell the children of the neighborhood scary stories. And then she would write them down. And many years in the future, a group of kids stumble across one of Sarah's books, and the stories start to come to life. So that's the basic plot point of the movie. And I understand that they had to kind of do something to make it a plot. However, I almost feel like they could have just as well done like legit just an anthology. I think these books may have fared better being an anthology series. Maybe like, I don't know, Netflix picks it up. They do 30-minute episodes where like they tell 2 or 3 of the stories per episode. I think that may have been a better thing adaptation wise for these books, because trying to put a plot around the stories, it just didn't work. So yeah, that was my main gripe, was I did not really like the whole Sarah Bellows plot. And then I think that the stories that they chose to use in the movie were fine, because I mean, I kind of like all of them. There isn't really, some of them are kind of crap, but I mean, most of them are fun and they're super quick, and that's the draw of them, you know, and some of them are downright creepy. And the ones that they chose, I was fine with, especially because one of them is one of my favorite stories out of all of the 3 books. Take a guess at which one was one of my favorites if you've seen the movie. But the ones that they chose I thought were fine, but then a couple of them, they changed the story. And I thought, if you're going to pick out of all of these stories that you had to choose from, if you're going to pick a handful, why not do them like they were in the book? Like, for example, and I don't think this is too spoilery to say, one of the stories that they adapted was Harold, which is about a scarecrow. And they completely changed the outcome of that story, the ending of that story. In the book, it's pretty dark and pretty creepy. And they changed it in the movie, and I think that it would have been more effective if they had left it alone. Or it's like, or my thought is, if that story was too intense to the point that you had to like reel it in a little bit, then why use it anyway? So yeah, I don't know why they did that. But the story that they used, that's one of my favorites, I thought that they did that one really good. The one thing that I think the movie did well were like the special effects. The special effects were done pretty well, especially in terms of, let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Some of the stories that they used, you can tell obviously that they pulled the special effects, the creature effects, right out of the books. Like basically like this creature, they took verbatim, put her in the movie. Harold, the scarecrow, looks exactly like how he was illustrated in the book. So, I mean, I liked that they kind of did that to kind of pay homage to the amazing illustrations that these books have. And that was probably the only, like, the main thing positive that I found out of the movie. I think that for the most part, the movie was not scary whatsoever. Not that it needs to be scary, because these books aren't super terrifying or anything. They won't, like, for me anyway, they didn't like give me nightmares or anything. But I mean, there are some like creepy stories in here. And I can say that, you know, I read these as a kid, and then I reread all three of these before I went and saw the movie, just so I could like kind of refresh my memory. And there were still, even as a 35-year-old woman, there were still stories in here that I read and I was like, ooh, that was creepy. So like, these are legit, and I felt like the movie just didn't live up to that. And I don't know if it was because of the format or what. So basically, I'm hoping that someday somebody will take these and do like some sort of like shorts, you know, film shorts, or like a little like anthology type TV show, kind of similar with what they did with the Goosebumps series in the 90s. They turned it into a TV show. Like a 20-30 minute episode was one of the books. They did maybe something like that. I think that would maybe suit this better. Because yeah, just trying to add a plot point just didn't work. And then of course they left the ending in the movie open to a sequel, which I'm like, no, I'm not. I, for one, will not be going to see that sequel. So overall, I was pretty disappointed with the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark movie. And again, I don't know if it's my nostalgia kind of getting in the way of my judgment, skewing my judgment in some way, but it just didn't live up for me. I would say read the books. Definitely read the books. Because these books, like I said, even now today, I feel like they are iconic in the sense that for future horror fans, like, these are it. I'm sure most people in my generation that love horror read these as a kid. So these books are really just like a perfect introduction to the horror genre and to that sort of thing. And they still live up, even 30 years later. They still live up to that. And they're awesome. And I just felt like the movie did not pay homage to the greatness of these books. But like I said, even as a grown woman, I loved these. All three of these books I gave 5 stars to, reading them even now today, because of, to me, the lasting impact that they have had on readers over a generation. And the amazing illustrations, the great stories that are, I mean, some of these stories are only half a page long, but they pack a punch and they leave you going, oh, that was creepy. You know, and to me, like, that says something about them and that how great they are. So yes, I could gush about these books all day long. So yes, if you have not read these books, definitely check them out. And like I said, try to get the ones that are illustrated with the original illustrations by Stephen Gammell, because they're amazing. But maybe skip the movie. Or if you really do want to see it, if you're really curious, just wait until it comes out and you can rent it for like, you know, a couple bucks, because it's not really worth, I don't think it's not really worth going to the theater. Alright guys, so those are my thoughts on the adaptation of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Please let me know down below if you went and saw the movie. What did you think of it? What parts did you like? What parts didn't you like? And also, don't forget to try, if you have seen the movie, try to guess which one of the stories that they adapted is one of my favorites. Just because I think it would be fun to see. Or if you've read these books and saw the movie, which stories do you wish they had adapted or put into the movie that you wish you could have got to see on the screen? So yeah, that's all I have for today, guys. I hope that you are having a wonderful week, and I'll chat with you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.